Ladies and gentlemen in Radio Land, you have now just entered 4th Street. My name is Kobe.
I'm Charles, not Charlie.
I'm Charlie, not Charles.
Don't mix us up.
And Smooth Austin.
And we are the 4th Street Sportsmen, and this is the 4th Street Sports Show. And welcome to the 4th Street Sports Show. I am your host, Kobe.
Charles, not Charlie.
Charlie, not Charles.
Don't mix us up.
And Smooth Austin.
And we are the 4th Street Sportsmen, and this is the 4th Street Sports Show. Now, currently, we're not in WUSM studios right now due to a break, but we had to get some episodes out to you guys right now. Right now, we're in the comfort of our own homes. I'm currently in Louisiana. Charlie is in Louisiana, probably somewhere. And I know Austin and Charles holding it down in Mississippi right now, but we had to get this out for y'all this week, and we got a bunch of Southern Miss, and we got a packed show for you guys today, talking about some new faces that will be heading to the campus.
A lot of new faces, old and young.
a lot of young faces, including signing day, new coaches, everything going on. In our debate section today, we will be talking about signing day that just took place last week. Also, in our EOI, we'll be talking about signing day, new coaches, results going on, basketball, and everything going on to y'all. So right now, it's a 4th Street Sports Show, and we about to head into our Eagle Eye section. Charlie, I'm gonna pass it over to you.
Yeah, so we have been following right before we got out for break. Of course, Southern Miss volleyball head coach Stephanie Radecki stepped down. So Southern Miss was searching for a new head coach, and they announced yesterday that Jenny Hazelwood is their selection as the new head coach. And it's actually Southern Miss's 12th head coach in its program history. And of course, did some research on Mrs. Hazelwood. She had a 6-year stint at Mississippi State, which was her last head coaching stint. She accomplished a lot of things at State because State has been at the bottom of the SEC for a while, but they actually did have their best season, which eclipsed Hazelwood's record for posting the best record at State. When she was at State, they saw their highest attendance record, best record for a season, and a bunch of other accomplishments that she's had as a coach. She's coached at 3 other schools, led players to honors. But the thing I did want to point out, I went back and added, she only had a .327 win percentage at State, which was questionable, but her resume is stacked. She actually played at State too, so she's a former player. She actually holds the records for most assists in a match, career, and season. And she's been involved in volleyball at high school, just a stacked resume. And I think that she is going to be able to relate to these players, and she really knows that kind of Mississippi volleyball pipeline, it looks like. She also served as an analyst for ESPN and SEC Network. So I believe it's a step in the right direction. Obviously, they've got to address the road record as we saw this year, 0-10. But she has the resume. It's just with the last stint, with a .327 win percentage, can she turn Southern Miss's program around, which is coming off of a 3-26 season just 2 years ago?
Yeah, Charlie, I have to kind of be questionable and kind of play a little bit of the devil's advocate on this one. Like you said, the win-loss record and for her career at Mississippi State is kind of alarming. Like you said, she went 55 and 129 to be exact at Mississippi State, and it's really not good. Now, first of all, I want to wish her the best of luck. I don't want to just come on here and criticize her, but I want to wish her the best of luck. Like I said, she's a Mississippi gal that's been around Mississippi and knows that pipeline and knows the great players and has done it on the high school level. Like you said, she was a coach at the USA national level for the juniors, to be exact. So she's done a lot of great things. Don't get me wrong, and she has a lot of accomplishments. She's coached a lot of great talent, and I think she can do that with Mia Wesley, who's our star right now on the volleyball side of things. But how long can she kind of navigate or kind of find that way for USM to find their way back to where we need to be, being that she's been in the SEC, she's played the best of the best and coached against the best of the best too. Can she do that in Conference USA and moving on to the Sun Belt? We'll just have to see. So
Yeah, and that's something good to bring up is I'm not trying to discredit her with that 1%, but it is against good competition too, like you're saying. But you gotta if the move, this is going into other territories, but let's say just one more year in CUSA, if that happens, that's still some of the best competition. We saw lots of good
yes,
competition in CUSA volleyball this year.
yes,
But again, the move to Sun Belt, you're going from an SEC coach, and something too. Hasn't coached at the college level since 2014. So there's a lot of different factors going in. She's been so involved in the sport though, and
yeah, on
just
the high school level, yeah,
it is promising.
yeah,
And yeah, she
it
does
definitely.
have a lot of. She has a big challenge ahead of her, like you said. Always like a very big losing record on the road this year,
Oh,
despite
and 10, yeah,
0-10, despite a strong record at home. She definitely has a big challenge ahead of her to try to get this team back on track and to try to get them back into the CUSA tournament, because now it's going on 2 to 3 years since they've been in the tournament, or
But
maybe
yeah,
longer than that.
last year, but that was a little different because of COVID.
Right.
they weren't in the tournament last year either.
No, they
Either.
weren't actually. They weren't in the tournament actually.
Well, it was in the spring, so they had a spring season.
Mm.
Southern Miss
So
was
it's
not in that one. I think it. I don't know when the last time. That's something to look up.
I think the best thing about this that might come out later is just maybe her recruiting power, because she's been so involved in high school volleyball and junior volleyball, not only in the state but across the nation. It could be something. She could be a strong recruiter because she's worked with lots of these top players in the nation.
mhm. Yeah.
I agree, and she's seen a lot of talent. Also, let's not forget that she was a SEC and ESPN network analyst. So I'm not gonna just completely discredit her. She's been around the game and she's watched it evolve, even as an analyst and on that high school level, like you said. So I'm anxious to see what she can do. She's had a lot of expertise in this field, so we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Uh,
excited to
and,
see what happens.
and hearing those accomplishments that she had on the court as a player, especially with those assist numbers, it makes me think that our setters are going to become that much better being coached by someone of her caliber. So
Yeah.
I definitely look forward to seeing how that's going to develop.
Yes.
And you got to realize that we can't immediately expect to have things be good. We got to wait a few seasons so that some of her recruits can come in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. That's very true. Another thing that you pointed out, Charles, which was a great thing that you did, is just some of the things that Kenzie Smith, who's at our setter, and some of the records she's been able to accomplish here at Southern Miss. I think she'll be great for her too. Like you said, Charlie, that she set a single game record for assist at Mississippi State.
Yeah. It
So
was 80. Crazy.
you said 80.
Yeah.
East 83, right? Was it 83?
I believe. Yeah.
83, yeah, I think I saw that somewhere. So I mean, Kenzie, she's a baller too. I mean, for her season high this year, she set 56. Well, she had 56 assists against Southeastern Louisiana, and she was ranked pretty high. I think at one point she was in the top 10 of Division One in the volleyball in assists for volleyball. So I think that'll be excellent for Kenzie, and we'll just have to see where this goes. As she stated. I mean, as you stated, Charles, how well she was as a player. I'm anxious to see what she can do with Kenzie now. So yeah.
Sure.
And moving on now to some football news, as a lot of people are aware. On signing day on December 15th, the hashtag 22 the top squad. I love that. Shout out to whoever came up with that social media campaign and the social media team. 21 new players were signed from high school and JUCOs to play Southern Miss football. That included 11 defensive players, a kicker, and 9 offensive players. And we will go into depth a little bit later on that development. sort of how that's going to affect the team. But this class ranked very high at number 77 with 6 3-star players. Their ranking landed them above reputable teams, including Appalachian State, Army Liberty, and many, many more. So, like I said, we'll be going into that a little bit later. Do we have any just sort of opening thoughts, not going into any spoilers on how that class is going to be
On
affecting things, guys?
on your talk about the social media, I want to say that they killed the graphics too, and just the whole. I feel like this atmosphere was the most professional. It felt big, like a big school signing day. Like they drew a lot of traction, hype around that, and I think that's big for the football season because a
Yeah,
lot of these guys, it's growing attention in the state because now Southern Miss is a real Mississippi team. So I just like what they did. Their graphics were on point. The little split thing with the helmet, and then that was awesome.
yeah.
I just thought it was like movie posters for each
Yeah.
player.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that graphic yet, Charlie. I don't know. I don't know. I I don't know. I mean, I liked it. I liked it a little bit, but I don't know. It kind of threw me off when they had Coach Hall in that like split helmet type ordeal or what.
That one was a little weird because Coach Hall's not putting on a helmet, but
Yeah,
all,
yeah,
all the players made sense. I'm just
yeah,
appreciating the work they put on
yeah.
because that means they had to get them there for a photo shoot without helmet. Those people that are working there are doing a good job. I
Yeah,
would say.
yeah, I have to agree. The graphics team and
Yeah.
the creative video squad, they killing it. I'm not gonna lie, like they always
Yeah.
pumping stuff out. But on to our recruits. My first impressions are, I mean, I like the class. Like you said, we had a higher recruiting class than some of the best schools on the Group of Five level, like Appalachian State, Liberty. We know how great they've been. So um, I think we did pretty well. I think we this is something that we wanted where we wanted to be at. And just speaking on Mississippi football in general, even in Jackson State, Jackson State signed the number 2 guy in the nation in Travis Hunter. I mean, Mississippi might be the mecca of football if this keeps going this way. And I'm a Jacksonian, so I'm rooting for Jackson State also. But Southern Miss did a great job. I think they did a great job. Will Hall did a good job in his first recruiting class, and I think it's only up from here. And like you said, just the professionalism. We had a watch party. What was it called again? It was a signing day, like ordeal or whatever. So it was on ESPN 3. So like you said, it felt official, and the hype was definitely there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you
And
said.
I'm oh, sorry, go ahead, Kobe.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, yeah, it was a big day for Will Hall. His first big recruiting class, 21 new players on signing day, a bunch of defensive players, and I'm actually impressed with the offensive side, but I want to save that for when we get into our debate. But yeah, the fact that he was able to rank so high at 77 proved that Southern Miss is still an historical program that people actually do want to go to. And I'm glad you brought the whole Jackson State thing up because I actually was going to save it for flowers. But yeah, Mississippi is still like a mecca for you got schools like Jackson State, you got schools like Southern Miss, you got schools like Mississippi Valley, and then Alcorn, and then of course you got the 2 big dogs in Ole Miss and Mississippi, but Mississippi State. But the fact that Mississippi is still a mecca and a lot of great recruits have come into the state to see that. So, but it's actually great for Will Hall to not only get 21 new recruits, but to rank in the top 100 for his recruiting. So that's good, and that's good things to come too as well.
Yes.
And the things that I wanted to say was I'm really embracing the now that the Will Hall culture has truly taken over because it was a little bit slow because the season was a little bit rough, but towards the end of that season, when everyone started really rallying around the team, and now that everyone's getting recruited and everyone's getting excited for football again, it's making me even more excited to get to next season and the next seasons to come. Just because the fans are really embracing, like I said, that culture that he's establishing with Superbacks and what he's got planned. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to what comes of the Will Hall future.
I have to agree. And he still has a lot of time left, and we got a lot of games to watch and a lot of fun players to see in this new signing class. So moving on to basketball, guys. As you know, it's been a tale of 2 programs. Kind of to say, women's basketball has been on a roll. They just lost their first game yesterday, but they were on a 5-game winning streak before then. But on the other hand, we have men's basketball who's been struggling now. Um, So let's talk about the good before we get to the bad. Ladies basketball, the Lady Eagles moved to 8-3 after a Monday afternoon loss to Richmond, where they lost 87-75 after going on a 5-game winning streak, as I stated. And now they're moving on to conference play. So we'll have to see what goes on there. They have their first conference game against Western Kentucky, who the men also have their first conference game against too on December 30th. So we'll just see how that goes. But the Lady Eagles were on a roll, guys. Like Malia Grayson was rolling. You got some action from Dacia Almond and all those other special girls. So it's a lot going on for women's basketball right now, and Coach McNelis is doing a great job. On to men's basketball, though, on the kind of worst end of things, guys. They've lost 6 straight, and it's not been good. It's not been good. This one today, they had a game today against East Carolina where they lost by 1 point, 68-67, which was actually one of the best games that they've played so far this season, if I may say so myself. But it was a nail biter. They had 2 shots at it. One of the stars of the games for us was Jerome Pierre, who had one of his best outings, where he dropped 20 points, including 5 threes, where he was raining in. He's kind of been on a roll of late. He had a pretty decent game against Jacksonville State, also where he dropped 18 points and had a stellar game, which was a signing point for us in the 62-51 loss. So moving on, we had Tyler Stevenson also finished with 16 points, shooting 7 for 12 on 8 rebounds and 2 blocks. And also a team high of 22 assists, guys. So it was a good game, but at the end we could not pull away. Jerron had a shot at it from the wing. We had 10 seconds remaining. Jerron took a shot from the wing, down by 1 against East Carolina, but it didn't fall through. East Carolina, we ended up fouling East Carolina. One of the guys, I think his name was Miles, JJ Miles or something like that. He missed a free throw. We got the board. Isaiah, I almost said Isaiah Thomas. Lord forgive me. Well, hey, Isaiah Moore, let me apologize to you myself. I'm a Lakers fan, and Isaiah Thomas came back to the Lakers. I'm sorry. I was a little hype about that. But Isaiah Moore, he got they got the board. Isaiah Moore dribbles up the court. I guess he didn't see how much time was left. They had more time to he had time to make a pass or make an extra dribble up the court to get a better shot, but he just threw a half court heave, and it didn't go in. It didn't. It wasn't even close.
He was trying to be Devontae Graham, maybe.
Hey man, I'm
That
not
is
gonna
still the funniest game winner I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
lie. That was a stellar game too. That was a stellar.
But talking about
Ooh.
Southern Miss, man, that just reminds me of last year against South Alabama. Just how close that game was, because they played real well in that game and they just couldn't get it done. And it was kind of like if we could win that game, it turns the season. Because if they win this game against East Carolina, you go into conference feeling a lot
Yeah,
better than you do right now,
yeah.
because
East
they have
Carolina.
ever since Tay Hardy's gone down, they have just kind of slumped down. They were struggling with problems before then. We all knew that, but they just have not been able to put it together. But at least that looked like a step in the right direction. They have 9 days to get that win against Western Kentucky.
Yeah, we'll have to see with that Western Kentucky matchup. But like you said, this was a game they could have turned around the season. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And it just slipped through the cracks. Southern Miss was up by 9 with 7 minutes remaining. Eastern Kentucky got some easy baskets under the hoop. Um, and one of the fans on Southern Miss basketball Twitter kind of stated how Eastern Carolina was able to get to that foul line, and Southern Miss only had 3 shots from the foul line. So you can kind of see the difference of Eastern Carolina was attacking the hoop and getting the easy buckets, and Southern Miss was just not getting those easy buckets as East Carolina was down the stretch specifically. So I don't know. It was a great game. It was a great game. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I mean, Jay Ladner, this is going on his 3rd year. Things are gonna get it's gonna get tough for him if he isn't able to turn it around in this conference play coming up. Um, I
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. They had a lot of things go on. You had it was a flu going on around the team. You
Mhm.
lose Tay Hardy. You lose a close game like this, and now a 6 game losing streak, 0-6 on the road. You haven't been able to get it done on the road. It's a lot of things going on right now, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. But man, the pressure's on Jay Ladner right now, and on Southern Miss basketball as a whole. But it's on Jay Ladner right now. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. And this team has talent, as we saw today. The team has talent.
Mm-hmm.
Just the final factor of can they get it done?
And I think we got to bring up, just as we've seen it in the NBA, and it's spreading in college basketball too, just what this COVID situation is going
Yes.
to do to this season, especially moving into conference matchups, where last year they were so particular about how those games were played. They played them back to back to kind of minimize the travel, just get it done with. So we might see some changes, but regardless, if not,
We saw a change to your voice too, Charlie.
yeah, no,
Messing with you, all
got a
right.
little cool going on. But I mean, the NBA, other teams are able to get these reserve players. That's their contingency plan. But what is Southern Miss or other colleges going to do if you get a couple people with this variant that's supposed to be, rapidly spreading, where it could just take out all of your players if it gets spread? So as much as I hate to say it, it's a threat again. It's a real
Yeah,
threat.
it is.
Yeah.
It
We
is.
kind of felt like at the beginning of the season we didn't have to talk about COVID anymore, but all of a sudden it's like back. It's
Yeah.
back in action.
Yeah, pretty much everybody's going down in the NBA right now with this COVID protocol thing going on right now. So yeah. But honestly, Austin, to get back to your point with Jay Ladner, it's been a tough season for him so far. But I feel like the only way that Jay Ladner comes out of this well and pretty much has like a good shot to go forward with the Golden Eagles going forward is to at least have a good record in conference play and try to get to the CUSA tournament and it's gonna be tough because they have UAB and Louisiana Tech, who I still think is the favorite to win the Conference USA tournament. And the reason why I just saw them in a game with LSU not too long ago, and they was having a slugfest with them, and it was a pretty much close game. But I feel like if USM is able to turn it around during conference play, I think that hot seat might start cooling off a little bit.
It's warm right now.
Oh, it's very warm right now. 4-8 currently, and 4-8 currently before conference play. You got to try to turn it around now. It does seem too late to turn it around now, considering we're at conference play, but anything can happen. We watch football, we watch basketball, we watch baseball. Division play is the most important games of the season. We know
it's not going to be easy. There's some tough competition in this conference.
You already know UAB 9-3, Louisiana Tech 8-3, North Texas 7-3, and Western Kentucky is 8-4 currently right now, who they play on December 30th. So we're gonna see what's going forward with them in conference play. So
right, and Austin brought up the 6-game losing streak. This team is no stranger to losing streaks. In fact, last season, I'm looking at the schedule right now, they had an 8-game losing streak in conference play. So like Kobe was saying, what?
I was going to say, because I was covering them last year, that was one of their longest losing streaks, and I can't remember the year total, but it was for quite a while. And now we're at 6 games. Just a year.
Exactly. Well, from my records, in the 2010s at least, the longest losing streak is 9 from 2016, 17, and 2014 and 15. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. And like Kobe was saying, conference play is huge, and there's a lot of significant competition in this conference. Hopefully we can get things turned around so that there won't be any issues with that when it comes to how the team's going and how potentially how recruiting is going to go, because players don't really want to go to losing teams, right? But if we can get things turned around, then it should look better for us moving forward.
Honestly, if they're able to steal a win from Louisiana Tech this year, because they play them twice, they play them in Ruston and they play them
Can't
at
wait to see that.
Gree Coliseum. If they're able to steal a game from them, I would be very impressed, and I feel like that would mean a lot of good things. But we'll just have to see going forward. Though December 30th is Western Kentucky, and that's the first game of conference play. So we'll see what's going on with that.
Before we get on to signing day, I think Kobe's got a little Southern Miss related news about a player's father going into the ring.
Oh yes. And thanks to our friend Mr. Trevor Ritchie. He's been covering this pretty much since it's been announced. This past weekend and
Correction, Kobe, before it was announced.
Yeah, he
before
knew
it was-
it was going to happen before, the Paul brothers when they started talking about it.
yes. So this past weekend, Jake Paul, I'm tripping. At this point, they're both boxing now, so it's
Yeah.
really messed it up. So Jake Paul fought Tyron Woodley in the main event of a big boxing event that just took place. And in the semi-main event, we had Frank Gore Sr., father of Frank Gore Jr., legend, third on the all-time rushing yards list. He took on former NBA star Deron Williams. And unfortunately, Frank Sr. lost in split decision to Deron Williams. Frank Gore, though, did not go unscathed from going viral after Deron Williams pushed Gore nearly out the ring. And again, as Deron Williams caught Gore slipping, as shock was on his face. But I actually love that he was pushed out the ring and he didn't get knocked out of the ring. And it looked vicious because I don't know why Deron just pushed him like that. It was messed up.
Yeah.
It was messed up.
Both
But
started street fighting in the middle of the match. He forgot
yeah,
about
I'm
his
like, I
blood.
think Brandon Marshall said it during. I said, this is not wrestling. Why are you pushing him? So, but
Man, I don't know what he
I'm glad Frank Gore Sr. was able to get in the ring. Luckily he didn't get knocked out. It went to a decision, and that was great. And I don't know if y'all saw it, but there was a video of Frank Gore Jr. saying that we want a rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
Saying that saying that they want a rematch. So who knows? We may be getting Deron Williams, Frank Gore Sr. too. We don't know. We don't know.
I think Boone said he was one and done, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll
Man, when you get
Maybe
a win
boxing
like
somebody
that,
else.
you're not one and done. You want more wins, bro. He's not one and done.
Maybe Frankie's gonna start fighting.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
As long as it's not happening during football season, I'm good. I need him on the pitch.
Hey, yeah, we need him on the pitch, super back, all that. We need him for that. So yeah.
A little quarterback too, man.
Of course. All right, yeah, that was our eagle eye. Now we will be moving on into our debate section where we will be discussing signing day, which took place this past weekend on December 15th, as you said, Charles. So as you know, Southern Miss signed 21 players, 11 players on the defensive side, a kicker, and 9 offensive players. First question pretty much is, what is your reaction to signing day? Pretty much.
I'll just say it's kind of I won't say I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it's expected because we knew that it was gonna be very Mississippi based, right? Like all these players have this Mississippi connection. It's kind of going off of last year when Hall first got on campus. We saw him getting in those Mississippi players, and when that big time signing came in with Ty Keys, everybody kind of knew this culture, this Mississippi culture Hall was trying to build. So going into this, we kind of expected that it was going to be lots of Mississippi players. And again, I don't have the number on me, but we are seeing a couple players from PRC, 3 3 players from Jones College, some people from Lincoln Community College, Hutchinson. We see a lot of JUCO players from Mississippi because Mississippi has tons of JUCOs that are well respected. So I like the players that they got, and I think it goes on that kind of theme, that kind of identity they're trying to build on.
Yeah. I like the defensive guys.
Mm-hmm.
I like the defensive guys, like the two guys from Lafayette County, well the county as they like to call it, and DJ Burgess and Mario Wilburn. I like those two signings, like to have two guys that play with each other. One in DJ Burgess, who was the 5A Mr. Football. So I like it. I like some of the defensive guys. And don't get me wrong, like you spoke on some of the transfers. It's interesting to see what a former Danny doesn't like Janari Dean does, and some of the other guy who came from Mississippi State, and another guy in Dylan Gill, who was a linebacker that's coming from Ole Miss. You know, we had the two Ole Miss guys from last year, and Lakevius Daniels and Jay Stanley. So we know those guys were huge for us this season. So I'm interested to see what some of those guys from the transfer side are gonna do from those, SEC Division I football schools. And then we got another guy from Memphis also.
Yeah.
So in Jaleel Clemens. So I like some of the defensive guys. Like all of those guys were defensive guys. I know Janari may plan on doing a little bit of running back. He did that at South Panola. So I don't know. I don't know.
And some of
Could we
those
be looking at a
transfers,
guy that can play both ways here? So I don't know.
yeah. I just want to say that some of those transfers, you're saying at the high school level, how, former teammates are playing together. We have a lot of that going on in this signing class, even at the transfer level. Jalil Clemens went to Memphis, so he's joining his former teammate, Everett Cunningham, and also Dalen Gill, who's transferring from Ole Miss on the defensive side, played with Jay Stanley. So
Yeah.
lots of connections on this team.
It's a lot of connections, and I mean that's that Will Hawk, Mississippi pipeline too. So we
Yeah.
can't forget about that. And we got a couple of twin brothers also. We got Cameron and Kyron Barnes from, I believe, is Adams County Christian School. So two offensive linemen right there. 6'4", 285 for Kyron, 6'6". No, correction, 6'5", 300 pounds for Cameron. So
They're both. This is what I found funny. They're both 6'5", 300, and Kyron was ranked number 43. Cameron was ranked number 44.
it's crazy, man.
And they look pretty similar too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I mean, they are identical twins.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny to see them playing. Hopefully side by side. That's gonna be funny to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wonder if they're gonna have. Well, they are gonna have a situation where one of them's gonna be K.A. Barnes, the other one's gonna be K.Y. Barnes on their jerseys. It's gonna get confused to try to call.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to come up. Hopefully, it's not like one of them 67 and one of them 68. I don't know.
Yeah, please, give one be 60 and the other one be 70, maybe. But they come in a deal package. If you're 43 and now he's 44, you got to keep the same number.
Yeah, I was gonna say have them be 43 and 44. Done.
I don't think that's possible. They're offensive linemen, Charles.
We can make an exception, just like my boy did.
Yeah, Jake Lang. Maybe he'll wear it.
If anything, from reading these profiles, those two are actually the ones I'm very excited about, especially them both being 6'5", 300. I don't know about y'all, but I like big, powerful dudes who are a little bit agile to block on the O-line. I love that too, and especially coming off problems that we did have on the O-line last year. I think that's great to have two brothers be on the line as well. So I think that's actually fire, and I'm actually interested in that the most, seeing what they do, especially with our new offensive coordinator coming from Liberty, Mr. Sam Gregg, who's not only the offensive coordinator, but he's also the offensive lineman coach now for Southern Miss too. So I definitely want to see where he goes with that O-line going forward, and just getting these two twin brothers who are massive and who who are very accomplished too. They both were named to the 4A All MAIS. So that's very interesting to see, and hopefully we see a lot from them going forward.
And then we're mentioning the line. We can forget Will Saxton.
Yes.
Again, talking about big body, 322 pounds, 6'3". That's something that Southern Miss obviously knew they needed, and they got it in the signing class. I believe he was ranked number 31 in the state by ESPN. That's not that's just prospect in the state overall. So
Also, number one ranked center in Mississippi. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
take into
And,
account.
and I was gonna say, like, with Will Saxton, he had a lot of quality offers from a lot of good quality schools. We're talking Georgia, Georgia Tech, Mississippi, Mississippi State. A lot of ACC, SEC schools were trying to recruit him. So the fact that he chose us over those guys, I think that that's a statement. It really is, you know. And he's hungry. He's wanting to stay home, and he's ready. He's ready to whip some tail out there, man.
That's exciting. It could be a complete turnaround with what they've got.
It definitely is. You know, just that off, like just to see some of these young offensive lineman guys come in here is interesting to see. It's I'm interested to see how they do in their first years. Maybe could one of those guys, you know, number one ranked center in Mississippi. You know, we just lost Arvin Fletcher, one of our Ironmen. You know, he eventually left the program and decided football wasn't for him no more. So just to see could these young guys coming in, how they evolve in the next couple of years, and you know if they stay on their path and continue to develop, we could be looking at these guys being the staples of Southern Miss on their O line. So it's very interesting to see with these young guys and how promising they are. I've seen a couple of their tapes, man. They are some trucks, some moving trucks down there that you don't want to get in front of. So it's very interesting to see with this new class coming up.
And I want to go back to at the last week of the season when everybody was asking about the superbacks. Will we see it next year? And Hall said that it would be a part of the team going forward, and that those blueprints are visible in this signing class. One of the standout players to me was Kenyon Clay from Union High School. He became the first D1 player to actually, or from the school, he became the first, player to sign to a D1 school. But he played as both running back and quarterback. We see a lot of star running backs do that in high school. But he rushed for 27 touchdowns and threw for 17 in his junior season, which is incredible. And that's not the only. We have a couple other players who have that super back potential. We have an athlete, Tyquelin Mims, who was also a 1,000-yard passer and rusher. He's listed as an athlete. This is crazy. 1,428 yards passing and 16 touchdowns, and 1,402 yards rushing and 16 touchdowns. So we got some super back material on this team, y'all.
I'm kind of glad you mentioned that too, because Southern Miss was able to sign only one quarterback, sadly, but Zach Wilkie was his name, 6'3", 185 from out of Hernando High School, and it was interesting that they only signed one, but honestly, looking at his stats, threw for 224, 98 yards, 14 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, but he was effective on the ground game as well, rushing for 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. And he was
number one ranked quarterback in Mississippi again. So,
and I look at that. I look at that now, and I think that could fit into the Super. Well, of course, he's a quarterback, but like that type of style that Will Hall was doing too. And if y'all remember in the South Alabama game too, before he got injured, Trey Lowe, he ran it like 3 straight times on the opening drive. And I think that might be what Coach Will Hall is looking for now in his quarterbacks. Not only to be mobile, not only to throw the ball, but to be mobile to kind of be a dual threat. So it's interesting that they only was able to sign one quarterback. I thought more quarterbacks would be interested due to it being a whole super back thing that they had. But I guess apparently they were only able to sign one. So yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Bray Hubbard from Ocean Springs. Actually, I don't know it. I won't say it because I don't remember, but he is interested in playing baseball. But he was the 6A football player of the year.
Mhm.
He had an insane year, and actually, I believe Southern Miss offered to him. I don't know if he's made up his mind between football and baseball yet.
Yeah.
Um,
He
but that
has
would have
another year. He has another year, so he
okay.
still he still has that time. But he's a dead. Hubbard is a special talent. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so there's the potential that he's coming. So I like that signing, and obviously we got to address the fact that the Miles Brennan hype train is over with him going back to LSU after their two other quarterbacks, entered the transfer portal. Um,
Newly
John,
engaged Miles Brennan. We got to say that also. He engaged to his girlfriend. I just saw that on
yeah.
social media not too long ago.
So uh, props to him. He's going back to LSU, getting that starting gig back again. But obviously, a lot of fans were kind of excited that he might be coming to Southern Miss. And now that it isn't happening, I want to propose this. Does Southern Miss still actively engage in talks with getting a quarterback from the transfer portal?
Yeah, sadly, my guy Spencer Rattler went to South Carolina, so he won't be able to come. He wasn't
I
able to
wouldn't
come.
want him at Southern Miss, bro. He was trash, bro. A little bit at Oklahoma, bro. Let's just keep it a buck. Bro was struggling with those interceptions for a little minute, bro. I don't want to go through that, man.
Um,
I was looking. There's still a good bit of transfer. Quarterbacks in the transfer portal. One of the most interesting ones. This is a long shot, but I don't know if y'all have heard of Cameron Ward from Incarnate Word, FCS team. He absolutely obliterated people this year. 47 touchdowns, 10 interceptions for 3,648 yards. He entered
Wow.
the
Hell
transfer
stats he
portal.
putting up.
Yeah, so he's from an FCS team, but he's ranked, I believe, as a 4-star recruit right now. So there's an FBS team will take the bet on him, and there's a good chance that ends up being a group of 5 team because I don't see lots
Yeah.
of Power 5 teams taking that big of a.
Yeah. Big of a risk. Yeah.
So,
Um, That's interesting though. I would definitely say adding to that quarterback room that you want a veteran guy in there to push them. But let's not forget that Southern Miss got the guy from Pearl River. I'm forgetting his name right now, but they signed to transfer from Pearl River Community College. JUCO guy, the quarterback. I forgot his name. I think it's like Davis or Dalton or something like that. Um, Maybe I'm getting mixed up with oh man, I'm getting it mixed up with the wide receiver guy we signed from
yeah,
MRA, the wide receiver guy who went had 15 touchdowns and 1,500 receiving yards. But it was a guy from Pearl River that they signed who's had experience. I think he's from the coast. Don't get me wrong. I think he's from the coast. Somebody help me out. But it's you always want that veteran leadership in the quarterback room. Some guys that can push those young guys like Ty Keys going in the second year. You got Zach in his first year, so that's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if y'all heard the reports, but Trevor kind of led on to it, and some other people stated it that Trey Lowe may be switching positions. He may not be playing
yeah.
quarterback this year, so that may be running back or some other position. So that's interesting to see if he even stays. If he still wants to fit into that mold. And all of that. He was a recent graduate. Also, he got his master's degree not about 2 weeks ago. So congratulations to him.
That's
Some of
insane.
those other guys. But I don't know. It's interesting to see. But you also want those veteran guys in that quarterback room just to bring it back around. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
I feel like there's options. There are a lot of options. I feel like it is interesting. No word from T Webb leaving. Right.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting. But
It's
yeah,
crazy, and I always talked. I always like we always had a discussion. It was crazy how he went from potentially being a second string to being to the position that he was kind of in during the season, where he wasn't. I think wasn't he like it was Trey, it was Ty, then it was Jake Lang, then it
yeah.
was him, and then it was Jack Walker at one point. Like
He never got a real steady. Like he got, I think his most possessions, like consecutive possessions, were it was against UAB, and that was just for a couple drives.
yeah,
yeah.
so
But anyways, moving back to the signing class, it is something to keep an eye on about those quarterbacks. There's lots of SEC quarterbacks too. Tennessee, Harrison Bailey from Tennessee, and Zach Calzada from Texas A&M, or a couple other names I just jotted down. But focusing on the players that Southern Miss signed. I thought it was interesting that they added, like you were saying, Austin, they're building up on those running backs and the superbacks, as we said, potential superbacks. But Janari Dean is kind of an interesting player to me. Transfer from Mississippi State. Didn't go how he wanted it to go in his first 2 years there. But we got to go back to his high school days at South Panola. He was ranked number 10 in the state. I believe in the state, but no. I think he was ranked as a top 20 prospect as running back and a top 40 safety prospect. So that's something that will be interesting to see where he will kind of fit in the mold there, whether it'll be at safety or running back. But that's an interesting prospect.
That is. It's a lot of interesting prospects. Like I said, you got a total of what is it, 21 or 22? Don't let me
21.
get 21.
21, I believe.
21. And it's still time for, other guys to still come in, This is the first signing day. I think it's another signing day in February, like late signing day or something like that. So, um it's a lot of great guys in this signing class, and I don't know, like if y'all could pick a favorite, like who would it be for
For
you
the
guys?
signing class,
Yeah, from this signing class, if you had to pick one guy that you're like anxious to see, who would
well,
that guy?
definitely Ilias Fouvet. I think that we got this big 6'3", 245-pound defensive lineman. He's actually a member of the Anoi family. For those of you who are familiar with that group, that group includes people like The Rock, Roman Reigns, and other WWE legends. So I definitely look forward to seeing what he's going to do. Moving forward, it's going to be interesting. We will have a relative of The Rock in The Rock.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that.
That's going to be a joke for
That
hopefully
is
many.
it. And it's crazy because they always put the if you smell what the Rock is cooking on third down. So that would actually be interesting too, though. So
I want to see him like lip sync it every time.
you know they're gonna get him to do it. You know they're gonna get him to do it and play it during the game. So
Yeah,
But I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do for certain. Absolutely.
I agree. He's going to be interesting to see just the connections he has in the entertainment business. He may even go into wrestling. Who knows? You know.
I will say that they have been doing a lot of NIL stuff over at WWE, so it would not surprise me in the slightest if he wound up getting an NIL deal with them.
I'll go with my player. Lots of these kind of stand out to me. As I said, Kenyon Clay did. Another one is Davis Dalton. His stats were just ridiculous. But the standout one to me was DJ Burgess from Lafayette. Just his senior year was bonkers. Listen to this: 120 tackles last year, including 43 tackles for loss, 35 quarterback hurries or hits, and 17 and a half sacks, 11 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. Like that's the videos where you see like the players walking out of the locker room, and then you see another player and it says who's going to D1. Like, I feel like DJ Burgess was the guy that everybody knew. Like, he's just on another level.
Yeah.
11 forced fumbles, man. What's going on? I gotta see that, dude.
Yeah, he's definitely a beast, man. And him and Mario. I can't even
Yeah.
forget about Mario either. Like, they're stellar. You know,
And
he
that's exciting.
wasn't five for no reason.
I love to see like good battles on the defensive line. Like if we can get some more, we saw some good play this year, especially from the linebackers. Just implementing what Coach Armstrong can do. With the guys like that, that's gonna be exciting.
It is, no doubt. If I had to go with my choice, you kind of let the cat out of the bag, and I let it out myself. But I gotta go with Davis Dalton from NRA. I mean, he kind of killed your alma mater, Charles.
No. Yeah, I'm very familiar with MRA football as a former Jackson Academy Raider. So I know that he's going to do a lot of good stuff, just like I knew that Jake Lang was going to do a lot of really good stuff. So I think it will be interesting to see how he develops in Coach Hall's system.
Yeah, like I stated, earlier, 1,586 yards, 15 touchdowns on 89 passes, 6'3", 200. Against JA had 388 yards in one game, which was a Mississippi record. So this guy is special. Shout out to USM Voice too for having some of these graphics and some of these stats. I kind of pulled this off of theirs. I got to give them a shout out for that. Most valuable guy in MAIS, football player of the year. So this guy is special. This guy is special. These stats are ridiculous. So I'm interested to see, can he bring some of that 1,500 yard, receptions to receiving yards to Southern Miss, and I want to see, how he fits into this wide receiver room with some of these other guys you got. You got Brownlee, you got Latrell Jones from PRRC, who was the number one ranked JUCO wide receiver. So this is interesting to see. So you got those JUCO guys too. I gotta shout out one of them who's coming back to Southern Miss. If y'all don't remember him, Markel McLaurin, signing back with us. He was actually a former Golden Eagle at first. He played his first year for Southern Miss. He went to Jones College. He's coming back now. Jones, they had a pretty good year. I think they got to the semifinal or something like that, and lost to Northwest Community College before Northwest would go on to win the championship. So this is interesting to see, like I said, but for him to come back to Southern Miss is special. Most guys wouldn't do that, and for him to come back, he's obviously loved the home that Southern Miss has provided for him. So we'll just see how things go. But Davis Dalton is, like I said, he's my favorite. I can't even lie. I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah, that's a good pick too. I looked at. He also had like 3 touchdowns in that game too against Jackson Prep too, I believe. So that was a good pick. I'm gonna have to cheat here. I'm gonna probably have to go with all 3 of the O linemen. I'm gonna have to go Will Saxton and both the Barnes brothers, because as much as we talk about receivers and of course our defense as well though too. Austin, you a Cowboys fan. Charlie, we Saints fans. We know how good how good O lineman. You know how good O lineman is too. They help the offense move. It takes away a lot of problems too. And of course, like I said, we had a lot of problems this year on the O lineman. It wasn't A1 like we were, like where we wanted it to go. But I feel like now with this whole super back thing, and plus when Ty Keys come back, I believe that a good old linemen are going to be needed, especially with Sam Gregg, who coming from an old lineman background, being the coach at the offensive lineman coach and he's going to be offensive lineman coach and a coordinator now. I feel like that these 3 at some point in time are going to really contribute to the offense and help Frank Gore get yards and helping the quarterback stay in the pocket, whether that be Ty Keys, whether it be anybody who in that Southern Miss uniform as quarterback. So I believe that these three at some point in time will definitely be breakout stars on the O line, and at some point can be very big key parts to it, especially with Will Saxon. He was named 3A All MAIS selection as an offensive lineman, and of course, number 31 prospect in Mississippi by ESPN and number 37 by 24/7 Sports. So I think that these three O linemen going to really, and plus they ain't no slouches. They ain't skinny. Them boys 6'3", 6'5", 300. So I already know they're gonna add a lot to that O line. So that's who I'm really interested in, all three, Will Saxton and the Barnes brothers. So that's who I'm really interested in.
I got you, and I can't even lie. You got a point there. We struggled on the offensive line early on in this year. We kind of got it together when we brought back the super back scheme. We kind of got it going a little bit there, but the game is won and lost in the trenches.
Yep.
So
what happened to Patrick Mahomes last year in the Super Bowl. You don't got a good O line, you're not gonna score. So
yeah.
Also, one more thing, fun fact too. We also signed a kicker too. So let's not sleep on Bryce Lofton, because we saw what our punter was able to do, and we seen what our kickers are able to do too. We got some good special team coaches over there as well. So we signed a kicker too. So don't sleep on Bryce Lofton.
Yeah, he might be giving Briggs a run for his money.
Could. Briggs did miss a few field goals this year. So
he did miss a couple. So
he missed a couple. So definitely don't sleep on our kickers though too. But any last words on signing day, fellas?
I would say also another team that Southern Miss, I didn't include it just because I thought it was a little like minuscule difference, but Southern Miss actually did land higher than Coastal Carolina, future Sun Belt team. So it was
number 2 in CUSA too.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina was right under Southern Miss in the recruiting class.
Yeah, and they just recently defeated who was it in the bowl game? It came down right down to the wire. I was just watching the game. It was Coastal Carolina versus I'm trying to think of who that school was, but they barely lost. I think it was a conference. I'll come back to it. But it was
while you're thinking, I was at the New Orleans Bowl. I just want to shout out Sippy was there with the Southern Miss flag. I guess, are we giving flowers? Because
I guess that's been our debate section, everybody, and now we are getting to our flower section where we give flowers to our Southern Miss athletes, current and former. You know what? For 1 week only, we'll give it to a Southern Miss fan for this week. Charlie, take it away. Take it away, Charlie.
A narrow focus. Make sure that your team.
I knew that Sippy was there, but I had no idea where he was. I was sitting around the 40-yard line, and I just look over like midway through the game and see 2 Southern Miss flags at the end zone, and there's like nobody sitting over in the end zone. It's just
nobody wants to sit in the end zone.
No, everybody was like, because it was, not that packed, so everybody was packed around midfield, getting seats. But regardless, giving flowers to Sippy, that was funny to see. But also just giving flowers to those 2 future opponents for Southern Miss. Of course, we played Marshall before, but both in the Sun Belt. That was a real competitive game, and it's going to be hopefully a good rivalry coming up with UL and Southern Miss.
Yeah. I finally figured out who Coastal Carolina played. It was Northern Illinois.
That was a good game. That was a really good game. I don't know if y'all watched that. That was a great game.
It was a great game. It came down to the end. Northern Illinois wasn't able to punch it in. I think they were like on their Coastal 7 or something yard line, and time ran out and they didn't make the play. But yeah. Can I give some flowers to, some Conference USA teams that won in the bowl season and
right ahead.
We're all about good sportsmanship here. We like our comrades in Conference USA.
I know a lot of our fans and Southern Miss fans are tired of Conference USA, but so far we're doing pretty well in the bowl season. We started off 2-0. I watched the Middle Tennessee game where they faced Toledo, where they got a win against them 31-24. Western Kentucky took down a Sun Belt team, a fairly good Sun Belt team in Appalachian State, where they would defeat them 59 to 30,
And
38.
are they in the process of transferring to Sunbelt too? Remind me.
Oh no, they're
I
not.
don't
They're
know. I
sticking
don't think so.
around at CUSA.
Okay, gotcha. I was
Also,
gonna say
Austin,
that's big if they manage to get that win and they're transferring.
Yeah,
Austin, you gotta talk about Western Kentucky quarterback too. This dude
sheesh, man.
here, bro.
He setting records. He's stellar. I almost said Billy. Bailey Zapp broke a couple of FBS records here. Taking down, Cincinnati starting quarterback, the Cincinnati Bengals starting quarterback, Joe Burrow's passing TD record in the season. Joe Burrow held it with 60. Zapp broke it, throwing for 6 touchdowns. Man, 6 touchdowns in one game. That's crazy. He broke it with 6 touchdowns, ending the season with 62 passing touchdowns on the season. Zapp also broke the FBS previous passing record yard for a season with 5,967 passing yards in one season. That's just ridiculous. Um, this dude is crazy, man. I think he's going pro with some records like numbers like these, man. He has no choice but to go pro. So
Don't be
I don't
surprised if
think
he's one of them late round picks in the draft this year, though, or
yeah.
next year, whenever he is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's a junior or whatever, but man, those numbers are ridiculous, man. So he's definitely putting on for Conference USA. So it's special to see somebody in CUSA having that record, uh, and which may not be broken for a while. It's hard to do this. So that's interesting. Bailey Zapp is special. Moving on, UTEP would lose to Fresno State 31-24 in a close match, guys. This would be CUSA's first loss in the Bros season. Comes USA started out 2-0. This was the UTEP loss made it 2-1. Then the Blazers of UAB got. I have to say this was like the most notable performance out of every Conference USA team, to take down a number 13 ranked. I said number one ranked, correction. Number 13 ranked
Always Bama.
BYU. Yeah, man. If we can take down Bama, that'd be special. Hopefully Cincinnati can do it coming up too. So we'll see.
Big chip on their
But
shoulder.
big chip. I'm rooting for the group of five level. Um, but UAB took down BYU 31-28 in a close match. This was a great game, guys. It was in raining and it was terrible conditions, but UAB, took it over BYU. Moving on, Marshall, they lost to the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana 36-21. As you stated, Charlie, you were there at the New Orleans Bowl. You saw Sippy, man. Any
I must.
thoughts about the game, man? Any
I want to say that Marshall's running back. I think it's Raheem Ali. I didn't know, before that game, he had 20 touchdowns on the season, and he had around 150 rushing yards in that game with 3 touchdowns. I didn't know him before. I hadn't been paying attention, so I definitely know that name now.
Well, is he sticking around for a little bit? We may know his name in like 2 more years.
I don't know. I got to read that, but that dude, with that kind of season and just seeing how he played, he's gonna be I think a pro baller. And they had a really good linebacker, 55. I can't remember his name, but it was
Wow.
good to watch. Some future competition.
It was definitely. Um, so Louisiana defeated Marshall. Then they kind of, took us back to well, correction, Old Dominion. They also lost to Tulsa, 30-17 in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, which I felt like Old Dominion played a pretty good game, but in the end, Tulsa was just too much. That took us to 3-3 in the bowl season so far for Conference USA, to have us at 500. Now we have 2 more games left. One is going on right now, UTSA versus number 24 ranked San Diego State in a tropical smoothie cafe Frisco Bowl. That's a lot to say.
His name.
Um,
It's
So
bowl season.
it's bowl season. That's all I gotta say. So we have that game going on right now, and North Texas plays Miami of Ohio on Thursday in the Frisco Football Classic. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Yeah, Frisco Football Classic. So, um, it's a lot going on. So hopefully that can push us to above 500. Those two games. Somebody tell me the score of the UTSA game. I don't know the score right now, but I think it would be interesting to know that. Um, but yeah, we got a lot going on. We got a Southern Miss alum also.
Started yet?
It hasn't.
Nope.
Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad.
You good. You good.
But yeah, so we had a Southern Miss alum come back and make his debut again. Starting for the Cleveland Browns, like y'all stated, with the COVID situation going on. Baker Mayfield, Case Keenum out. Nick Mullins gets the start. I thought he played okay. I thought he made the game winning drive on a 4th and 6, I believe, or was it 4th and 5? He got he threw running out of the pocket. He threw a touchdown pass to the tight end and made it 14-13. Las Vegas Raiders make a drive. Daniel Carson kicks a field goal to win it from like 48 yards out and beat Nick Mullins and company. But man, I thought he played well. For a third string guy who only had like a couple of days of practice coming into a Cleveland Browns game where, it was basically a playoff game. Cleveland was no Las Vegas was 6-7. I think Cleveland was right at 7-6.
Yes.
So it was a lot on the line there. Nick Mullins, I thought he played pretty well. I'm gonna bring up some of his stats right here. He didn't throw for too much, but I mean it was enough to keep them in the game, and I thought he did a pretty good job. Nick Chubb got it going. I was watching that game. He struggled in the first half. He got it going in that second half. I think he rushed for like 80 yards in the second half or something in total. But it was a good game, man. It was a good game. We got a game. We got game. 2 games today, guys.
Yeah.
True.
Man, I don't know about y'all, but I love Tuesday football.
Yeah. We get to see Quez Watkins and the Eagles against the football team tonight, or as Charles likes to call them, the Washington Conspiracy. But that's another discussion.
That needs to be a thing. Make that a thing.
That's another discussion for another time. But yeah, Nick Mullins finished 20 for 30, 147 yards, and 1 touchdown. I think his final QB rating was 77.9. And it was a decent game. Also, he was without Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper, and he had to pretty much roll with Njoku, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Harrison Bryant, who he threw the touchdown to as well. But he did play well. You win some, you lose some, and you really can't say nothing too much about that. But yeah, I think he played well, and it's gonna be a while, but I could see him being a starter in the league. You never know.
Never say never. COVID, man, with COVID especially, never say never. That's just all I'm gonna say. Never say never.
So,
but
yeah. Also, we got to give some Mississippi love, of course, to Jackson State. Despite them, even though they had a lot of celebration going on this week. Despite them, why are you looking at me like that, bro? Despite them,
my bad, bro.
despite them losing the Celebration Bowl against South Carolina State, they did make a big impact this year. Dion in his first full year, because we got to remember that he played in the spring and he played in the fall.
I don't count that. I don't count that.
Right,
nah, man.
All right, but he did make. Despite that, he did make a big impact. Not only packing out the vet, but just what he did for Jackson State, bringing that historic football culture back and everything too as well. So, and also, of course, the biggest news of signing day, signing the number 2 player in the country, the number 1 corner in the nation. Help me out with his name, because it's slipping my mind. Travis
Travis
is
Hunter.
slipping my mind right now, but
Yeah.
that's big too.
Yes.
And me and Austin, we was kind of talking about this, what this is gonna do for not only for the culture of Jackson State, which is already historical. We already know about that. Well, the greatest running back of all time came from Jackson State. So one of the greatest running backs of all time came from Jackson State. And HBCU, a lot of things can happen there too. And also, Southern Miss, you might want to strike while the iron is hot and set up another Jackson State game in 2 years, 2, maybe 3 years. You might want to strike while the iron's hot.
And
Because
play it in Jackson. I'm
play,
not gonna lie, and play it in Jackson.
either way, it's
Man,
going to be packed. Either way, they're going to pack
guarantee
it
you
out.
Why
50,000
not take it to the
fans.
Mississippi Coliseum?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot,
Interesting.
let's go all in. That's
Interesting.
what I'm saying.
Coliseum doesn't fit 50,000.
Well, that's true.
Whatever, Oz. We gotta make it as big as possible. That's the point.
Yeah, I
But,
mean
yeah.
Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium seats around like 60,000 at max, so it's more than a Rock.
How does that compare to Ole Miss's stadium?
I think Ole Miss is right at like 62,000 or something like that. So yeah, but
Anyway, shout out to Jackson
Yeah.
State. If I don't know if I'm missing any other flowers.
I just wanted to say just an overall congratulations to anybody that signed with Southern. I mean, it's a big deal. You know, one of the highest accomplishments that an athlete can have is signing on at D1 college level. So shout out to everybody that was signed at any sport, be it football or baseball, softball, any sports at all. Welcome to Hattiesburg and the Hub City community.
correct.
We hope that you all enjoy your stay here and that you'll be able to leave a mark on the programs that we have here.
Also, shout out to our future walk-ons too. Hopefully, that in the future that you get scholarship here at Southern Miss while you're on the team as well. Though.
Oh, definitely.
Very big deal as well. So, but yeah. Also, again, shout out to our new coaches, Sam Gregg, who is our new offensive coordinator and offensive lineman coach, and Jenny Hazelwood, who is our new head coach for the volleyball team. But for right now, if there are there any more flowers that y'all know?
Nah, I'm done.
Yeah,
I gotta go give a flower to my ladies now. So
on that note, I'm Kobe.
I'm Charles. Not Charlie.
You want to run that? You want to run that back again?
No.
You know what I say? We just roll with it.
All right, let's roll with it.
smooth off.
We are the 4th Street Sportsmen. Again, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, Facebook page too. Since
I
we're
lost my 100th follower. I'm very salty about it. I'm back at 99.
Wow, that's crazy.
I can't seem to get past the threshold.
Wow, that's crazy.
I seem to get over the hump.
You'll get back there. And I'll put you in the flower section. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, follow us on all social media platforms. Right now, we will subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to our podcast platforms, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all that jazz too. Right now, we're gonna try to put episodes out right now. We're not at the studio right now currently, of course, due to break and everything going on, especially with Christmas coming up. So we'll try
Merry
to put
Christmas,
out
everybody.
yeah, Merry Christmas and everything. But we will try to be putting out episodes on YouTube and on the podcast platforms too. We'll try to make that work. But definitely subscribe. So definitely follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and all that jazz, so you can find out more information on that. But definitely, and who knows, we it might not come out on regular Tuesdays like all the time. Again, we had to shoot this an hour earlier for those of you listening to this right now. We had to shoot this like an hour earlier too because of everybody's busy schedule. But we will try to get episodes in, and at some point, it may not be weekly, it may be at timely, but we will try to get the news out for you guys and everything too. So thanks for rocking with us. Again, Merry Christmas to everybody. Again, we are the 4th Street Sportsmen, and this has been the 4th Street Sports Show. Peace, everyone.
3, 2, 1.
Thanks for listening to the 4th Street Sports Show. Tune in next week, Tuesday, 5 p.m.